The last thing I want to ask is, just real quick, how damaging are alcohol and tobacco to the human body? What do they do? Is there any level that's okay? Or are they all bad, all good? What are they?
Your physical body has the ability to acclimate. And so, on a scale of 1 to 100, with 100 being very bad and 1 being inconsequential, we would say that alcohol or tobacco, either, would be about a 5. And we would say blame would be about 99.
All clear.
In other words, what you do is not nearly is not significant. It is the vibrational place from which you do it. And so the real damage, the child who fears for her mother who smokes is in a worse place than her mother who smokes with no fear. But if the child harangues on and 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 on about it until she gets her mother to now feel fear too, now smoking with fear is worse than fear without smoking. Because when you do something, there is nothing worse for you than to do something that you believe is bad.
I see.
We want to talk a little bit about the addictions. I want to just help you to understand what it is, why it is. Your physical body is always seeking its balance. Your bodies are so magnificently resilient. That's what evolution of your species is about. In other words, you keep responding to your environment and becoming hardier. So, that's why the tribes that have not had exposure to some of the diseases take the diseases very hard, because they've not had an opportunity to acclimate to them as you have, and their bodies have not responded and are not as hardy. So now, your physical body thrives on natural things, and by natural things we mean even meat, we mean water, certainly water, we mean fruits, grains, vegetables. In other words, all those things that are a part of your physical environment, your physical body thrives on. You know that you do better when you eat something than when you try to live on air. In other words, you've already tested that one out. You don't need our words about that. When you drink water, for example, since your body is mostly water, it absorbs and acclimates to that water very easily. In other words, your body does not have to work hard at dealing with the water that you give it, or the fruits, or the vegetables. In other words, the natural things that you give to your body, it deals with very readily. But if you give your body something that has a lot of preservatives in it, as much of your food does, or caffeine, or sugar, as much of your food does, your body then, just like if you get close to a virus, your body adjusts to it. So your body acclimates to this stuff that you are putting in it. And as it acclimates, an even better word would be, it does what it needs to do to compensate for what you have ingested. And as it compensates, which is the same thing as saying, as it finds its balance, to you, that acclimating feels like craving. In other words, it's like the cells actually adjust to what you're giving it, but in the adjustment, it feels to you like they are asking for more. And that's what craving is. In other words, that's what the addiction is. The cells accept the poison, let's say, just to get it in the proximity of kind of what you're getting at. Addiction is usually thought of as giving your body something that's not good for it. So let's use the word. As your body receives the poison, it acclimates to it. And as it acclimates to it, it feels to you like it wants more.
Interesting.
And that is what is at the basis of addiction. That's why those who go cold turkey feel discomfort as their body withdraws, but in time, and usually very short time, the body adjusts to the absence of whatever it is, and they're fine, unless they do it again, in which case next time their body picks up the proclivity even faster because the cells remember the adjustment that they made last time.
Wow.
Jerry noticed something about his body. In his youth, he was a circus performer, swinging from the vines. And he trained his muscles to be very strong and very large and very responsive. And what he notices all these years later is that his muscles still have that memory. And today, if he does a few chin-ups, his muscles remember right away. In other words, the cells of your body remember. So they have an easier proclivity next time. You get the sense of it?
Yeah.
So is anything bad for you? No, nothing is bad for you. Are there things that you might want to avoid? That's an individual thing. You have to decide. We do not encourage stimulation of one's being through the use of drugs, because then the use of drugs are necessary for the stimulation. And we don't, and most things that you ingest for one reason also have other things that they are about. And so your bodies often are overstimulated. And even the drugs that the doctors offer you, in fact, the drugs, not even, but certainly the drugs that the doctors offer you, give you often much more than you wanted. And so your body is then having to adjust to those. That's what all those side effects are about, you see. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would strive to eat that which is natural in nature, and we would ask for the non-physical energy stream for the energy and clarity that so many are wanting from drugs.
Perfect.